Hey, good morning, everybody. It's now Wednesday. It's December 20th, and just want to talk to you again. Gosh, I think I may enjoy doing these more than you enjoy watching them. That was a revelation to me over the last couple days. Um, it's funny. I feel like I have two people or two personalities or two lives inside of me. Here I sit mild-mannered CEO in the mornings with you, and then I go do a crazy Hellcat Viper driver racer, by night. So anyway, I feel that the two sides of me when I talk to you guys. And we crossed over. We have about 4,300 people in here now. So I just want to say welcome to everybody who's new. This will be another chat session. It'll be another kind of business session. So again, if you're here for the cars, the last post did that. With the Hellcat coming into the garage last night. And I just want to say you guys blew me away. I mean, I did not expect that sort of response from a car channel about business. I mean, I just did not expect that at all. So you impress the hell out of me, your questions and your comments. I'm a little bit stunned by how kind everybody is in here. I know that I told somebody that when you crawl into the octagon of the YouTube world and choose to compete in that world, you kind of game on yourself. So I know it's coming, but how kind of open and honest everybody is in their comments and their questions really surprised me. I just didn't expect that. I haven't seen that much in the YouTube channels that I watch, so I just really respect it. I think we're creating a little bit different community in here, and I want to continue to foster that and grow it. It's something I've become very proud of. So a couple things before we get into the topics. So I'll tell you the topics. The topics are, one came from a question from inside the community. Somebody asked me what I thought of the tax cuts that are coming off the Hill last night and tonight. And it's very dangerous, but I don't dodge dangerous questions. So I certainly don't want to blow our channel up or kill this family, and I don't want to turn this into a hated debate, but I will express my thoughts. And then I want to talk to you about the next step in business, maybe the thing you don't know, the big surprise. Sometimes it's what you don't know that hurts us, the unknown unknowns, as I call them. So we'll get into that. But the first thing I need to do is talk about, I need to give some credit for people who taught me. There are three people in particular I need to call out, because someday they may see these and go, hey, you stole my material, or you at least didn't even talk about me. So there are three people, one who helped me personally to open up and carve out what was a lot of anger in me. I mean, my first response to a lot of things in my life up until 2012 was to get angry about everything. And I still feel that in me, but I now can tell when I have what I call my dragon heat. When I can feel it building up inside me physically. And the guy who taught me that is a guy named Steve Sisgold. Sisgold, Sisgold, Steve Sisgold. He did some one-on-one with me, and he doesn't do much one-on-one anymore, but he does a whole product called Whole Body Intelligence. And anyway, I owe that guy a lot. He broke me open and taught me some things, and we can go over what he taught me later, but I'll blow this video up if I get too detailed. But anyway, so I owe a huge debt to Steve Sisgold. And then the next one is Tony Robbins, the late night TV guy. I mean, I spent a year with him kind of traveling the world and the U.S. I think I went to 8 events with him. I've been in his house in Fiji. I've sat in his living room. I've spent some one-on-one time with him. If you look him up, UPW, Unleash the Power Within, and then there's a whole series of events. A lot of people get event addicted and just can't get out of that cycle of going to those things. But the teachings he gave me that year were pretty amazing. I was part of what he calls a platinum partnership. And that experience itself was only part of my transformation, but the people it led me to and the experiences I had, are still in my life today. And then the third guy is Keith Cunningham, and I found him through the Tony group. He travels and presents in the Tony Robinson group. And Keith's an amazing guy. If you want to look him up, look up Keys to the Vault. And Keith has been more my mentor than I think than anybody else. I spent almost 3 years listening to him and meeting with him. I was part of a CEO counseling group with him. I've traveled to Austin every quarter for over 2 years. So Steve Sisgold, Tony Robbins, Keith Cunningham. I just need to give a shout out to those 3 guys. I'm not arrogant enough to think any of them are watching this channel or ever will, but I just, to stay in balance with the universe, I want to make sure that a lot of my talking and a lot of myself has come from the teaching of those 3 guys when you combine it with my experience. So I just want to call that out. So the topic for the day, the business topic, is going to be, I think, one of the things that might surprise most people who jump into business. And so I'll start from a perspective of, one of the things that might irritate you the most if you work for somebody else is that they're always giving you shit to do. They're always telling you what to do. You got more to do. It's an endless cycle of being given things to do. And I'll tell you, the part that probably surprised me the most, and I think catches the most people off guard, is when you start your own business, you have 2 jobs now in that company. I don't mean you have to have a second job, because you probably do. I mean, you have 2 jobs in your new company. One is you got to run the company and do the work. But the other thing you have to do in parallel with that is, while you're eating this meal, you've got to find your next one. And so sometimes you have to spend all day doing the job you have, the job you won, the customer you brought in, whatever, however you want to say it. You got to run your business. But then you got to go and spend a second work day, sometimes on the same day, hunting the next one. And sometimes your customers are here for 5 minutes, some are here for months, mine are here for years. But I have to hunt my next one while I'm serving this customer. And I just think that's not intuitive, or it certainly wasn't for me, that you're always hunting. And I know a number of people in my world have stepped out of my company and others to form a one-person show, and then realize, my God, the contract's coming to an end, and I don't have anything else lined up. And I've seen a lot of people fail because they forgot they had to hunt the next meal. And it is hard to hunt while serving the client in front of you. It's the quickest way to lose clients, in my opinion, is to take someone who's trusted you and said, I will buy your service, and then feel like, there's a formal term, you're window washing them. They feel like they're being partially serviced because they can tell you're looking for the next one. You're looking past them to behind them. You've seen people do that at parties or cocktail parties or at dinners or lunches. People are looking past you to see the pretty girl behind you, or the bigger fish that's behind you. And if you treat your clients like that, even if you don't mean to, but you still do, you're gonna offend the client. So just that's the end, right? I mean, that's all I really want to say about it. Just know that if you step out, you've got to serve this customer while finding the next one, whatever timeline or time frame that comes in. So it's just something to be aware of, something to plan for. Plan your day, plan your week, plan your life around the fact that you're going to be doing 2 jobs in that new company. So again, God, ask me questions, make comments, talk back to me, but I think that's the most important thing. If you can pull that one thing out of this little video, it's plan to hunt while serving your client, and doing it in a way that you don't offend the client. So I'm not too excited about talking about tax cuts, because I think taxes and politics are part of our society's. We've degraded as a society into just yelling at each other. We don't really talk or argue or debate. I don't think we listen very well anymore. We're in. I find that most of what I observe or see in the world is really just transmitting. All I'm doing is transmitting. I'm yelling at you. If I yell at you more vociferously, if I yell at you louder, if I call you a worse name, that's how I'm going to bend you to my will or bend you to my position. And I really don't want to be a part of that, and I certainly don't want to create that here in this environment. So I got to come clean on a couple things here. I was a politician. I mean, I served 8 years as essentially a county executive. We don't call that where I live. I mean, I live in Calvert County, Maryland, which is down in southern Maryland. That county was formed in 1654, and it still has its original form of government is what they call the county commission. And it's 5 people elected across the county, and those 5 people have legislative and executive authority. And then those 5 people elect their president, and that president sets the agenda and runs the meetings and works with the county government. So for 6 of my 8 years, I was elected as that president, and so I served as the president of the board of county commissioners. Let me say that again: the president of the board of the county commissioners for Calvert County, Maryland. Try to say that 10 times quick. So from 1998 to 2006, I served as an elected official. And once a politician, always a politician, right? And I would call myself a recovering politician. It's kind of like a recovering addict. You put me in front of a camera or in front of a mic, and maybe that's why I feel so comfortable doing this. So I've seen taxation policies. I've seen it from the ground up. I've seen it for schools and roads, for public safety, the sheriffs, the fire departments, schools, programs for like soccer and fields and football and all that. So I've seen it from the ground. And I think so my opinion is I think we are overtaxed as a society. If you look at what we pay to the federal government, the state government, the local governments, the county, the cities, cigarette tax, gas tax, alcohol tax, sales tax, property tax, personal property tax. If you look at all the taxes you pay across your life, you're probably close to 50%, and some of us 60 or 70% of every dollar goes to a tax. And I think at some point that could be what breaks this great republic of ours. That at some point there's such a cost of living here that it forces people to make other decisions. I don't really know. So I think tax reform is important. I think watching our tax rates, keeping an eye on them, is important. I'm always in favor of tax cuts. I prefer that we take care of ourselves more than ask the government to take care of us. I think we're better at taking care of ourselves and our families and our communities than the government is. So you may say, well, you totally favor these tax cuts. That's crap. And I'm really not. Because I think we've become led by, just so you know, Capitol Hill is 12 blocks out that window, and the White House is 4 blocks out that way. So, I see it, I live it, I'm in the middle of it. But I think we've become led by a group of people, I call it the circus show on the Hill, and in the White House. And it really doesn't matter which party holds those offices or holds the majority or holds the White House. It's a circus act anymore, and it really has become individual. Even our Congress, or even our members of Congress, are trying to become, famous through crazy acts. I don't think they look at it as trying to run a nation anymore. They look at what's best for them to stay in office, and so I don't like what I see, and that is action for action's sake. Action so that they can go home and say, hey, we passed tax reform. I'm not sure they've read it. I'm not sure it's good. I have not read the bill. These bills are usually 1,300 pages. The meat of the bill is probably on 10 of them, and then the rest is special interest, and then all the riders that get attached to it, and that part never makes the news. So I am in favor of tax reform. I am in favor of lower taxes, but not at the harm of our society. But I'd like us to kind of set a debt ceiling or set a taxation ceiling and say we have to live within this ceiling. Taxes can't go above this rate. Spending can't go above this rate. I would like to see us kind of get our shit together as a country. Kind of like I talked about you guys getting your individual shit together as you get ready to run companies. Oh God, it's a dangerous position. I get it. So again, I'm in favor of tax reform. I'm not sure I'm in favor of this bill. I don't know if it accomplishes it a whole lot. I would like the nation to watch its spending. I mean, my God, if we ran a company like we run the country, we'd be out of business. And if you ran your household like the government runs its, you'd be on the street. And I would like to see the government be a little more responsible. So, God, I can feel people clicking off, or maybe the hate mail coming in, but those are my thoughts. I love talking to you guys. I mean, I really enjoy this part of my day. Seeing your responses, seeing your questions. I mean, I must have wrote down 10 things from your responses yesterday to start putting future business thoughts together. So I really appreciate your participation. Let's not turn this into a hate channel, please. And God, have a great Wednesday, and we will talk to you later. Bye, everybody.